The month-long Clear the Air Challenge starts in February. Help be part of the solution by driving down your emissions and opting to take public transit. 3 new high-frequency bus routes now await you. Lara Handwerker with the city's Transportation Division fills us in on details. And our History Minute is about the Zephyr Club. Let's get started with our legislative update and look back.
At its January 21st meeting, the City Council heard a briefing about the state legislative session and voted to make Darren Mono the 7th member of the council, replacing former council member Aaron Mendenhall, who vacated that position to become mayor of Salt Lake City. To learn more, visit slc.gov/council.
Every single person who seeks shelter during the winter months should have access to a safe, warm place to sleep and an ability to connect with services.
With winter temperatures dropping below freezing and homeless shelter accommodations at capacity, Salt Lake City leaders and community partners announced plans to open a temporary shelter with up to 145 beds in Sugar House. The Wiegand Center will continue to operate as a day shelter and central hub for homeless services, while the Sugar House temporary shelter will serve as an emergency overflow and overnight warming center this winter through April 15th. To learn more and find out how you can help, visit the URL on the screen.
We like to say that Martin Luther King Jr. Day isn't our day off, it's our day on. We come together with our jeans and t-shirts and get to work doing good in the community in a different way than we do as public servants in City Hall. I think a lot of us are drawn to public service out of that very same vein and passion for work that Martin Luther King Jr. so eloquently did day in and day out. Today's the day we get to celebrate his legacy of work. Is one day a year, but this service, the spirit of community permeates Salt Lake City. It is really what makes us a thriving community, thinking about others and how we can help others. So I encourage people to think about how they can plug into service in our community and statewide every day of the year. At this point in time especially, our homeless resource centers are in need of volunteers. So find a way that you can plug in and help in a way that works with your time, your schedule. The food bank here always asks for food, time, and money. Today we're giving time. We'll be looking for ways throughout the year that we can give in other ways.
Last August, Salt Lake City and the Utah Transit Authority launched the city's first frequent transit network. Enhanced bus routes have made it easier and more convenient for people to get around. Lara Handwerker with the city's Transportation Division fills us in on details.
A frequent transit network is kind of the industry term for transit that is provided at 15-minute or better service. The goal of the frequent transit network is just to provide more transit to more people, to more places. The city thinks it's a really important investment to make. One, just to make it easier for everyone to get around the city, whether you have a car or not. It's a lot more cost effective to just use transit all the time rather than owning and operating and maintaining a personal vehicle. And then also we're all pretty aware of the air quality issues that our city has, and so getting more people out of their cars and onto transit helps the city and the region as a whole. The Frequent Transit Network, we launched our first phase of it this past August in 2019. It is on 200 South, 900 South, and 2100 South, so the 2, the 9, and the 21 for UTA routes. These 3 routes in particular benefit Salt Lake City residents because they make connections easy for residents, connecting them to the goods and the services and the destinations that they need to reach, and it just makes getting around the city a lot easier. So these 3 bus routes offer 15-minute service Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then 30-minute service from 7 p.m. to midnight on those days, and then on Sundays from 7 to 7, 30-minute service. This is part of the Funding Our Future initiative, which is a 2-part funding mechanism, which was, one, it's a 0.5% increase on the sales tax that the City Council approved in May of 2018. And then it was also a street reconstruction bond that residents of Salt Lake City voted for, and it's an $87 million reconstruction bond. Salt Lake City residents really said that this was an important investment for the city to make. They were voting for improved transit and improved public safety. Those were other things that were included in that initiative as well. This is just the beginning. These first 3 routes of the Frequent Transit Network, they're the beginning of a citywide frequent transit, highly accessible network, and so we want to know how to make it better. This is your city and it's your ride, it's your transit system, and so we really want to hear from you. So to learn more about the service and to take our survey online, you can visit slc.gov/transit, and there will be a link to the survey. There's a whole bunch of info and links to other websites about how to ride and how to find schedules.
And now we travel back in time for our History Minute.
For 20 years, through the 80s, 90s, and up until 2003, the Zephyr Club was one of the hottest spots for music and nightlife in Salt Lake City. The sound inside was as legendary as the atmosphere, and it quickly became a hotspot for national acts to play small shows. The Zephyr began life as a restaurant, but the owner realized quickly the space was destined to be a music venue. Eventually, the Zephyr doubled the size of the dance floor and tore out the kitchen altogether. With a capacity of only 350, it would be difficult to imagine acts like Sheryl Crow, Liz Phair, Warren Zevon, and Morrissey play there. But the tickets were always a reasonable price. The most they ever charged was $30 a ticket for a performance by Robert Palmer. The club closed unexpectedly when the owner wasn't able to bid enough to buy the building. Instead, it went to developers who wanted to tear it down to create a parking lot. Since the city had no need for more surface parking lots and denied the request to raise the iconic building, it sat vacant and abandoned on the corner of 3rd South and West Temple since 2003.
Well, there you have it. If you haven't already done so, check out routes 2, 9, and 21 and let us know what you think by taking our survey. Check out the link right below. And join us next time for another episode of Capital City News. For SLCtv, I'm Poonam Kumar.